Alright, we are finally here at the end of the mainline Arkham series, Batman Arkham VR. Now this isn't going to be the last video in this series. I still want to cover Gotham Knight, Suicide Squad, and I have a few series wrap-up videos in mind. But this is the last entry in this series where you play as Batman. And what a way to end it! With the game exclusive to secondary hardware with gameplay shrunken down because of its limitations. We got a great track record with those. To be honest though, I was actually really excited to play this game. I would do anything to play a new installment in this franchise. Well, you know, anything but buy a MetaQuest 3. So let's see if Batman Arkham VR fits the Arkham standard or if it's another half-baked spin-off. Spoilers ahead, and as you can tell, this will be a shorter video because the game is only an hour and a half long. I feel like Batman Arkham VR and Arkham Origins Blackgate, in terms of story, reflect their hardware perfectly, as well as their missteps. The PS Vita is essentially the PlayStation equivalent of the DS, where it works completely on its own, but you're really missing out if your only experience with PlayStation is with the Vita. The PSVR, however, is completely unusable without a PlayStation 4 or 5. It is a new way to play games, but it's not an alternative to a console, only an enhancement. In the same way, Arkham Origins Blackgate completely fumbles because it's trying to do its own thing. Like the Vita, it serves as an inferior alternative to a real Arkham game. Arkham VR, however, is only an extension of Arkham Knight, and serves as an enhancement to that game, which makes it feel way more acceptable as it chooses the right battle. And it is really cool seeing how well it fights this battle, as we see the lead up to Arkham Knight, and what prompted Batman's investigations into the Joker contaminations. I will say though that you can almost immediately tell this game won't have almost any impact on the series though, considering that you don't have the armored suit from Knight, which means this has to come before, but Nightwing dies in the very beginning of the game. So since you immediately think that this game just isn't canon, it definitely lessens some of the impact that this game will have on you. But I do like how they turned around to actually be canon, but just a hallucination Batman is having. That does make me wonder though what Batman is actually doing in reality this whole game. Like if he didn't kill Nightwing, which was painfully obvious that he was the killer from the very start, then he didn't go to the Iceberg Lounge because there would have been no witness for him to track. So was he just like drooling at the Bat computer imagining all of this? And because this whole game is a hallucination, the entire game can be summarized in one sentence, which does seem pretty disappointing at first. But again, I think the fact that it's the lead up to the monumental events in Arkham Knight makes it way more interesting than if it was a full new story in the series with limp dick gameplay. And that's not to say that the gameplay is limp dicked, but yeah, it is. The gameplay in Arkham VR is very minimal and mostly based on puzzles, which is a bit disappointing to hear, but it's probably for the best that I wasn't throwing out wild punches a few feet away from my TV. And the puzzles are mainly the investigation sections, like the cool interpretation of the crime scene analysis, and using the scanner to analyze the bodies in the morgue, which was probably my favorite part of the game. What I was most surprised by was that I actually had to turn around physically during the Iceberg Lounge section because of how everything in this game is set up to be directly in front of you. And during that section, it was cool that they had Penguin use a fire extinguisher as a weapon, because the part of my brain specifically reserved for Arkham Stealth knew exactly what to do there. And what I really appreciate about the game is how it scared the shit out of me, whether it be Killer Croc's jump scares in the sewers or the buildup of getting close to the Joker in the asylum and being tense that I was gonna get jump scared. And the fact that we get to go back to Arkham Asylum is just so rad. They even do the chime that sends a chill up my spine. They really nail the environments out of the park, whether it be the Batcave, the inside of Wayne Manor, the creepy, rundown sewers, or the main menu screen, where you overlook Gotham City from the roof of the GCPD. My only standout problems with this game are technical, but I'm not really sure how big of problems they are since this is the first VR game I've ever played. Like, some of the body tracking was off and my arms would be all weird in the mirror or I'd grab the wrong gadget, but that was mainly in my second playthrough when I was sitting down. And one big thing that I noticed was that I could really see the lines of the lights in the screen, like when a water drop lands on your phone. It could have been because I was wearing my glasses, and it is the PSVR 1, so I don't know if that was a problem they fixed in the VR 2, but maybe if you guys have played a lot of VR games, you could let me know in the comments. While Batman Arkham VR is absolutely unnecessary and its length left me wanting more, I still had a fantastic time with this game, to the point where I replayed it immediately when I was done. I was expecting this to be very middle of the road, but it was a pleasant surprise. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, as it does a lot of things right, but just not enough right or right enough to warrant a higher score. And you know how when you're a kid and you go see a movie, you adopt the coolest character's personality and you feel like a badass? Well, putting on that cowl made me feel that way again. So at the end of the Arkham-specific stretch of this video series, for the first and only time, I can say that Batman Arkham VR actually did make me feel like Batman. And that's a cease and desist from IGN.